Hello Internet, this is Whispering Whim, bringing you another grocery haul today. A very ill-fated grocery haul, if I may say so myself, for a couple of reasons. I was out of town doing an art show last week, and I'm doing another art show this coming week, so I don't have that many groceries to show off, but there's probably enough here for a video, right? So I started, I did the grocery shopping and I started setting up the camera and everything, and found that my camera stand has just disappeared off the face of the planet. I'm sure it's somewhere in this apartment, but where, I just don't know right now. So I've kind of rigged up something I think is going to work. So yeah, that was strike 2 against the video. And then strike 3, as soon as I opened up my voice, or my mouth rather, to do my first greeting, because I have to do a couple of takes for these things, I discovered that I have a bit of a sore throat. It doesn't hurt, but I can tell that it's taking a lot more effort to push out the words. So I'm like, should I quit now? Quit while I'm ahead? And I've decided, nope, we're going to do this. So that is enough babbling for now. I'm sure you guys want to get into the actual nitty and gritty of my grocery shopping. So first up, we have some nice Rice Krispie treats. Those are for my guys' lunches, of course. And then we have some bread for grilled cheese sandwiches. Even though it's super hot, like crazy hot, I've really been craving like just soup and salad or soup and sandwich, like everything's soup. So I think I'm just gonna break down and make some soup, even though it's just too hot for that. Next up, we have some dehydrated veggie chips, just to add a little bit of variety to my guy's lunches. He just has carrots and ranch like 90% of the time, and that's kind of because he's not a picky eater, but he's a particular eater. Like I can get him to eat Brussels sprouts and broccoli, cauliflower, all those things, but they have to be on very specific terms. So lunch vegetables, I think, are the hardest to sort of find acceptable versions of. Anyways, next up we have some English muffins. When I was out of town for my last craft show, which ended up being a total bust. It was, I actually lost money doing that show. I don't normally have any show be quite that bad. But anyways, when I was staying at the hotel, they had English muffins as part of the continental breakfast. And, I like English muffins, just haven't had them in forever. So I had one at the hotel, and then now I'm kind of like hooked. Anyways, next up, some potatoes. It's been another thing I've been on a kick lately, is just eating all the potatoes I can. French fries, and mashed, and like roasted potatoes, I think, is my favorite right now. Next up, we have some Hello Panda snacks, and this is the strawberry flavor. I got a couple of other flavors kicking around somewhere, and these are just to, add some variety and fun to my guys' lunches. The other two flavors of Hello Panda snacks that I found at the store today is the caramel and chocolate. Now it's interesting that this is just caramel, because I believe last time I got him a big package of Hello Panda, it was a salted caramel flavor. So apparently they carry both, and that's kind of fun. But, just something to add a little bit of variety to his lunches. And then finishing off this first bag here, I know it went quick, right? Woo, is some nice flaky onions here that are trying to shed all over my kitchen. But they'll be good. I'm making some tacos, which I need onions for. I'm always making tacos. But I'm also going to be making all my soups. I'm going to be making a chicken noodle soup from scratch, like my own stock and everything. And let's see, what else would I be using these onions for? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Maybe I'll make some nice onion and potato hash browns. That sounds tasty. In here we have some lime juice. I've been using this in my seltzer water that I've been using the soda stream to make. But I will also be using this as an ingredient in another dish. But I'll wait until I get a little further along in the grocery haul to reveal what that dish is. Next up, we have some honey buns, and this is for my guy to have for breakfast on the weekends alongside his ever-present bacon. And then we have some mangoes. I picked up a mango last month, as you guys may recall. I managed to cut it, although I'll have to Google the cutting technique again and practice a little bit because it wasn't the best cutting wise, but flavor wise it was fantastic. I picked a good mango, and I'm still not quite sure what the rules are for picking a good mango, so I picked up 2 and we'll see if they're any good, because my guy actually enjoys, he says it's his new favorite fruit to get in his lunches, because, you know, I'll throw in the apples and the oranges and all the really basic stuff. And he used to just want apples all the time. He never even really asked for any variety, but he made a special note to tell me that he likes his mango, so we're gonna add some mango in. Following that, we have some kidney beans. I don't have a direct plan for those. I just felt like the cupboard needed to have some kind of floating around. I have found that anytime I ever have beans in the cupboard, especially canned beans, that I use them. You know, I make something random out of stuff that's about to expire, and somehow throwing beans in the dish like makes it all work together. Beans are really underrated. Great, you know, source of vegetable protein. They've got fiber in them. And I need to get in the habit. I have dried beans. I have them. I think I bought these like a month ago, maybe 2. And I never make them. The whole soaking or even just using the Instapot, it still takes more time than opening up a can, right? Next up, we have some bay leaves. Finally got through my jar that I had, I don't know, I got it a little while ago. And I was tempted to get the same one over again because they were pretty good quality. But then I noticed that the ones in here not only have a jar, but they're actually wrapped in plastic as well with a freshness seal. Like, I feel like I want to find out if that redundancy of having a fresh seal and a plastic bag inside a jar makes them taste better or not. I mean, this is just the store brand. It was the cheapest one on the shelf. But they took the most care with their leaves, so that will be an interesting little experiment. Following that, we have another little experiment. I always see these sauce packets, and I usually don't get them because you'd be surprised on how basic most of the ingredients are in dishes, especially like Asian dishes. So I probably could look up a broccoli beef recipe and just do it. So I don't normally buy these, but you know, sometimes it's nice to have a sauce on hand instead of having to figure it out and making sure I have everything to make the sauce. So I'm trying to justify it. It was like, I want to say it was like almost $4. It was 3 something to get this little pouch of sauce, but I figured, you know, well, we can have something nice once in a while. Next up, some Parmesan crust stuff, shake and bake for chicken. One of my new favorite meals to make is to do some shake and bake chicken at the same time as I make zucchini. Basically, like if you throw the chicken in the oven and then you cut up your zucchini and you throw it in the oven immediately afterwards, they cook at like essentially the same time at the same temperature. And it only takes like 20-25 minutes. So that's been good, especially right now in the summertime when turning on the oven for any amount of time seems to add quite a bit of heat to the apartment. Our AC unit, sometimes it works too well, like really like cold. But if you make the mistake of turning it down or turning it off, it won't get back to that temperature for a while. So I don't know what's up with that. Someday I'm going to own a home and I'm going to be able to just install a good AC, but today is not that day. On the bright side, I do have some sliced almonds right here. We have been successfully eating quite a few salads lately, and that's good in my book. Doesn't require oven time for one, but throw in a little bit of vegetable here and there. We could always use more of that. And I'm just unzipping my other tote. These were nice little tote bags. I thought I was going to start doing some screen printing on the side to help supplement my business, but I've had to throw in the towel because there's not enough room in a little tiny apartment like this to really properly screen print. And it was aggravating me more than it was worth. So I have some extra tote bags now, and they have little zipper tops, so they're extra useful. So first up in this particular bag, we have some Mega Bites cheddar jalapeno. It's new. It says new right there. It's the first time I've seen it. And you know how we are around here. Anytime there's a new jalapeno related thing, we have to try it. I think that's like a new rule, or an old rule, really. Try all the jalapeno things in the house. So I hope they're good. Following that, we have some soup. I'm going to be making soup, but I'm also going to be eating soup on the side, apparently. And this one is roasted red pepper and tomato soup. I've always loved tomato soup. Like, as a kid, that was probably my favorite soup in the whole wide world. And interestingly enough, my mom used to always make it with cream, and I don't like it with cream. I just want the tomatoes. But the red pepper version that this brand, Pacific Foods, comes out with is really tasty. I like it. It might not be my new favorite soup because now I make so many different kinds of soup, but it's pretty high up there for in a carton soup anyways. And then next up we have some good old Scooby snacks. I was going to buy them. I should show the front. I was going to buy them like in the little individual pouches to make giving them for lunch easier. And yeah, the individual pouches are almost twice as expensive as just getting a box. And we have plenty of Tupperware and plastic bags and etc. So I was like, I'm just going to get a box of them. Sometimes convenience wins and sometimes saving money wins. And right now, saving money is going to be the bigger priority, especially after last show was not good. I'm so disappointed, but I'm trying to be positive because I got another show this week. So you guys should wish me luck again. Send all the positive vibes my way. Okay, next up We have some cranberries. This is a real fun thing to add into our salads. My guy is a spice fiend, so I usually do like cranberries and jalapenos, and then I also sprinkle on just a little bit of Carolina Reaper pepper dust. And that's like his new favorite thing now. He actually enjoys eating his salads when I put the ghost pepper stuff on top. I squirt the ranch on because I have like the big tube of ranch. And then if you sprinkle just so it mixes, like it just is in the ranch and it doesn't need a lot of mixing. It's really neat. So that's fun. And then next up, we have a whole bunch of these little cheaty spice packets that I can never seem to quit. I can't quit you, spice packets. And we got a couple of them. We have one I have not tried yet, as far as I know. And that's smoky bacon barbecue. And that should be fun. The rest are all familiar flavors. I've got some zesty herb, tomato, garlic, and basil, and then black garlic parmesan. And speaking of basil, I actually picked up some little plants today. Meet my new mint baby and my little basil baby. They had a real pot, like a real plastic pot. What would you call that? But it was tiny and they needed water already. Like I just got those at the store today. So I transplanted them into those disposable coffee cups because it's just, the little pots they came in were like this big. And I'm like, those things, those things need some love. And the random like whooshy noise is that so when I'm in like the frenzy of getting ready for a show, all our stuff starts to just become piles. The apartment gets so messy. And while I was trying to find my stand, no wonder I couldn't find my camera stand. But while I was trying to find my stand, I layered a bunch of stuff on top of each other that I knew was going to fall. And I was in one of those moods of like, I just can't deal with this right now. I'm surprised it took that long to tip over. Next up, I've got some good old-fashioned V8. I got it in the cans this time. If you're someone who's watched a lot of me, like every 3 months or so, I get in a mood and I buy V8. But when I buy it in the big old plastic like jug, never finish it, ever. But when I get the little tiny baby cans, I can't help myself. I drink all of them in like the first week. And I just, sometimes I wish I could tap into my own psyche and be like, bad girl. I mean, I guess you can, but not physically with the whip and everything. So I got tiny cans to ensure that I'd actually drink them this time. And then I'll feel bad because I'm wasting all that tin because the recycling around here sucks. Then I'll get the big old jug again next time I have a craving, and then it'll all go to waste. That's just what's going to happen. At least I'm honest with myself. Anyways, we've got some better than bouillon. We've got 2 flavors today. The roast beef base and the roasted chicken base. This stuff is just, it's amazing. Like anytime I'm making something and I'm like, this probably could use a little more salt and ... right? Kind of has to fit those 2 qualifiers. I usually will use that stuff instead of like salt because it just punches up the flavor a little bit. And sometimes I'll swap meats, so to speak. Like if I don't have any chicken on hand, I'll put in the beef bouillon. And, it can add an interesting little thing. Next up, we have some peanuts. So I guess that's a good enough reason to discuss why I had another use for my lime juice. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but I love lettuce wraps. And the Cheesecake Factory, this one's empty. The Cheesecake Factory used to have lob lettuce wraps. And lob can be pronounced a couple of different ways. If I'm understanding it correctly, in the actual Thai language, it's pronounced with like an HBP sound, so it's more of like lahab, lahab, lahab. But when you see it on menus, like Americanized menus, what this dish is it could be lob, larb, lob. There's a couple of different ones. They're all the same thing, but it's a minced meat salad that's popular in Thailand. It has like mint and cilantro and green onion in it, and it is so good. And last time I was in Cheesecake Factory in the restaurant, I ordered the lettuce wraps without even like thinking about it, and they'd switched over to just using like chicken breast, like just regular old chicken breast. And you know, there's still sauces and all the things you put in the lettuce wrap, but oh man, I miss that lob. So I made some like probably 2 months ago now. I feel like it was 2 grocery trips ago. And I've been so obsessed with it that I've been like advertising it to my fiance's family. So I'm like, I'm going to have to make it for all of them. So I'm going to make lob twice. I'm going to make lob gai, which is chicken, and lob moo, which, get this, is pork, not cow. And that is a good enough segue for me to go grab my 1 cooler bag. Isn't that crazy? I have just 1 cooler bag today. I'm going to buy like the ground chicken and stuff for my lob when it gets closer to time. Just because I don't know exactly when I'm going to make it. Okay, so in our cooler bag, first up is some Italian parsley that got a little smushed, it looks like. Poor little parsley. And this is a very important ingredient for most of my soup bases. We'll be making chicken noodle, as I had mentioned before. But I'll also use a little bit of parsley in my lob if it's still fresh by then. Traditionally, there is cilantro in lob, but I'm not a big cilantro person. And so sometimes I'll swap in some parsley instead. It's not exactly the same, but it's still herby, kind of adds a bit of freshness without tasting like soap. I'm one of those people that think cilantro just, in really, really tiny amounts, it just tastes bitter. And it's fine because, you know, I like bitter. I like grapefruit and things like that. But when you get like a whole like leaf in your mouth at once, it's like, why am I munching on some Irish Spring right now? It's not fun. Next up, we've got some green onions. This would also be a good ingredient, or a required ingredient rather, for that Thai dish. I'm going to stop saying lob every 2 seconds. I don't know that these will last that long. Again, I don't know when I'm making it, but they're also good for like stir fries and even in salads. So I went ahead and picked up a bunch, like 4 bunches technically, of that, and I'm just going to use them and, you know, see what happens. Next up, have some sweet cream salted butter. Good old butter, can't live without that. I got 1 little thing of broccoli. I usually, like, one of my go-to vegetable dishes for dinner is roasted broccoli. And when you roast it, you need a lot because it like dehydrates a little bit as you roast it. But I'm going to have to like swear off roasting broccoli in the oven until it gets cool out. Last time I did it, because it takes about an hour in the oven to roast it as much as I like it to be roasted, like to the point where it's like crispy. Yeah, leaving the oven on for a full hour just for 1 vegetable dish has been something that I get mad at myself for doing. So we're not doing that. I just got a little bit of broccoli, and that's to put in my broccoli beef sauce pack thingy that I got. Next up, we have some Mexican 4 cheese. That's just a good old classic thing that goes on everything. Most readily, I can think of using it for our tacos. Following that, we have some pepper jack cheese cubes, just to give a little bit of variety. My guy usually gets a piece of string cheese in his lunch. And in fact, today, I got 2 small packs instead of 1 large pack because it was like significantly cheaper to buy it this way. They wanted $10 for, I want to say it was 36 sticks. It might have been 36 sticks. And these were like $2 a piece. So it was definitely cheaper to just buy 2 little packs. But anyways, he gets string cheese like almost every day. I figure, every once in a while we'll switch things up. Following that, we've got some more cheese. This is Colby Jack cheese. And that is my favorite cheese for grilled cheese at this point. Sharp cheddar, even medium cheddar. It's good. It's classic, but I kind of really enjoy the Colby Jack. It's very mild, has good stretch to it. Good cheese. Speaking of good cheese, we have some shaved Parmesan. That's my favorite type of cheese for salads. I feel like it really adds a lot to lettuce. We've got some zucchini here. I'm going to be making lots and lots of zucchini while we're waiting for broccoli weather to come back. And then, last but not least, we have one little thing of lemongrass. This is another thing that goes into lob. Just adds a little bit of a earthy, herby, but also citrusy kind of a note. So when you add this in with the lime, you just get really tasty something or another. And with that, we are all done with our grocery haul for this month. I know it was a little short and maybe a bit fast-paced, but I've only got a few more days until my next show, and I gotta go focus on that. But before I go, let's go ahead and do some good old-fashioned shout-outs. Let's try to find some names I don't say quite as often here. I do have my regulars, and I love you guys to pieces, but show the new people a little bit of love, right? We've got ASMR Lofi, Luana, Delphi Puglia, maybe. I am terrible at pronouncing some of these things, apparently. And Diana. So thank you to all of those people for making comments and being a part of this whole little thing. Because seriously, without you guys, I would have stopped this forever ago. I've got so much going on. But everyone is so wonderful and so kind that I don't want to stop yet. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.